Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Middle Age Gaming podcast. And I hope you're not bored of it yet because we aren't bored because we are enjoying our gaming time. Today, we have a show because it is Women's History Month. That is right, Adam, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So, we're talking about famous gaming female protagonists, or maybe not famous, but people we want to talk about. And we'll, of course, talk about games that we've been playing recently and maybe give you an idea for games you'd like to play or games you're stuck on. And if you are playing Horizon Forbidden West, you probably listened to the last two episodes. If you have any questions as well, Adam and Antoine, of course, could answer them because these guys are deep in the woods, deep in the hives, whatever that
Weeds.
expression is, deep in the weeds, deep in the weeds, and they can answer pretty much any question I expect, right? Because these guys are Horizon fans. And just listening to them talking about it, I'm like, they were talking about a spoiler before the show. I'm like, no, don't spoil the game for me. And then I realized, no, I'm never going to play Horizon Forbidden West. Probably. We'll see. But as usual, we're going to talk about games we have been playing. And of course, Antoine is up first. And Antoine, fill us in on where you are on Horizon Forbidden West. What's
I,
going on? What's been occupying your time?
I'm just in front of the last mission, and I was filling up, of course, as usual, before doing the last mission, just doing all the side quests because I want the best gears, best armor, and everything, so I can roll over enemies at the end, which is usually not the case because I'm not very skilled enough. But anyway, and yes, as you said, today we are talking about a female protagonist, and I just want to add a few things. So first, it's March 8th, I believe, was International Women Day. So we can expand to the whole month by saying that was this particular day. And if you are in Asia and especially China, you guys will confirm or not. But so March 8th is Sanba. And if you call a lady Sanba, see, so you can see. Adam, since you're laughing, tell us what it means.
It's kind of like somebody who just wants attention all the time, and they just kind of act silly and yeah,
So yeah, a particularly annoying lady, and
yeah.
I'm very sorry. So International Day means annoying lady. I'm very sorry. That's a Chinese thing. I don't know, but that's just because my father-in-law's birthday is on, Sanda, March 8th. So that's why I know this anecdote. So I'm trying to not to say that too often. So little trick if you're in China, just forget about what I just said it. Anyway, let's start the show on nice and strong and brave ladies. Of course, you would expect Adam and I to talk about Aloy. Therefore, or Resident Forbidden West or Resident Zero Dawn, therefore, I will choose another female protagonist, of course, and I will let you guys, go first. I'll keep mine for a surprise for in 5 or 10 minutes.
All right, Adam, what about you? What you been playing? Oh, I saw you play that like suicide depression game, which is a horrible name for that, but
Horomi, Hogomi,
Omori. So I
Omori.
wasn't quite sure what I wasn't sure if that was just a name or something, but apparently it comes from the Japanese hikikomori. You know that term?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Antoine knows it. Hikikomori is one of those people that they never leave the house. It's a problem in Japan right now where you
Shut-ins.
have shut in basically, and so Omori comes from hikikomori. So the main character is kind of shut in, but you can kind of tell by the fact that he seems to be in his own mind. Most of the game seems to be kind of in his own mind. So I guess it's kind of a coping mechanism for him. Uh, and but you can tell like he's black and white, but everybody else has a little bit of color, even if it is a bit washed out. But yeah, so far it's pretty good. It's very gameplay wise, it's very similar to what you might expect from Earthbound or the Mother series. So that kind of thing. Yeah, pretty much straightforward right now. They have kind of an interesting mechanic where instead of using elements, they use emotions. So happiness beats anger, sadness beats happiness, and anger beats sadness, and so they kind of have that kind of interesting dynamic, and you can affect your characters with different emotional states and things like that. So it's interesting so far. Yeah.
And it's just noticeable enough that this game, among the many, many, many lives that Andan does, this particular live got us one extra subscriber.
Oh,
So
did it?
you like, yeah, exactly. So you like when we play with games. So maybe we should play with game from now on. We heard you.
Yeah, this one was recommended to me by a student. So he really wanted this one, so I figured, it's in my backlog and I'll do it. And yeah, honestly, I think most of the time that I get people talking are this one and Other Side. So it seems that these kind of smaller indie games are a little bit more successful for us. It's probably just that there's not that much competition out there for Other Side and
Likely.
Omori. So
That's what made the success of Phil on Lord of the Rings. There's not that
yeah,
many people, doing mobile games.
yeah. So
So
I
maybe
think
we
that was it.
should do some strange small indie games now in the future.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
I mean,
Yeah, me
that's the
too.
common suggested advice, right, for new streamers is to pick something indie and go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, for me, I've done the usual Sunday, played Deep Rock Galactic. I'm feeling a little bit bored with it because we've pretty much unlocked everything at the moment, my brothers and I. But it's still really, really fun to do co-op and really intense when you sort of finish a mission and you've got 2 minutes to make it back to the escape pod and you've dug your hole like 100 meters underground. You've got 2 minutes to go back up, and while you're running back up to your ship to escape the asteroid, you're being attacked at the same time. So it's pretty intense, like Left 4 Dead style. So really fun. Division 2 also, funnily enough, feeling bored, but my friend Hans still wants to keep playing it, so I'm going to be doing that. And Wasteland 3, really cool. Yeah, still. I managed to put in 4 hours, 2 hours Saturday, and 2 hours, or maybe 3 hours, or maybe 2 hours on Sunday as well. So it was pretty cool. At the moment, like level 14, the leveling up is going pretty fast, is what I like. I hate games that where uh, the leveling up sort of like you go up fast and then it tapers off, and then like after like level 10, Divinity 2 was like that. It was like after like 11, level 12, it just takes you forever to level up. But in Wasteland 3, my current goal is to break someone out of a jail from the guy who sponsored me to get into this town. So I have to go into the jail and potentially argue my way, but I never argue. I just shoot everybody and then come outside and then shoot everybody else who opposes me and then finish the mission. That's the way I roll. Okay, yeah, and that is it for games. Unless you guys have played anything mobile or anything small, besides, I mean, we've only seen Adam as well. And Antoine, only Horizon Forbidden West.
Yes, but I'm spending a lot of. See the dark circles here? It's because I have reached 100 hours on the game.
Oh,
And
okay.
as I often repeat, I don't have time for games, so I'm playing until like midnight nearly every day to wreck some game time. And I think I need to stop soon. I need to finish the game soon, otherwise I'm just gonna collapse. It's not survivable. So that's why one intense game a year is good for me. Last year was Ghost of Tsushima, or Ghost of Sashimi, as Phil likes to say. And this year, Horizon Forbidden West, and I'll wait for next year until the next one.
All right, fantastic. And that leaves us plenty of time to talk about our games and female protagonists and stuff. And of course, Adam is starring and starting us off with his choice.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to choose. There are a lot, and so I kind of had to narrow it down. As far as best, I don't know if it's necessarily the best, but I might have to go with my personal
your
favorite.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my favorite's definitely going to be. Hang on. My favorite's definitely going to be Aoife Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII, and I mean that's probably a pretty stereotypical choice for various reasons. But no, but yeah, I mean her popularity is definitely in partially due to her appearance, but I really like their personality as well. I mean, she's kind of that. It's funny. She's kind of the sexy soccer mom of the group. In that I've heard people describe her as she's kind of the glue that holds the whole group together. Once, I mean, I don't know, are we getting into spoilers territory if we're talking about a game that
Of course.
came out in 1997?
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. After a certain character is no longer available in the game. But yeah, I think we all know who. But yeah, she's kind of the one that keeps, especially the main protagonist Cloud, in line and She was really important to the story. She doesn't have that much dialogue, really, but she's really important because she's kind of the motivation for what set Cloud, the main character, on his journey and kind of set him in the direction that he was going. I mean, the whole reason he went to Midgar and was because of a promise that he made to her when they were children. So she was really important to him back then. He was kind of an outcast because of an incident that happened with her. And when he has his issues later on in the game, she's the one that sticks by his side. You know, the rest of the party goes off, and you get to control Sid for a while. He gets to be the kind of the main character, but she sticks by Cloud's side the whole time. If you see her interactions with Marlene and later Denzel in the Advent Children and whatnot, you know, she definitely has that kind of really strong mom energy. And it was always kind of interesting because her and Aerith, whatever you want to call her, were designed kind of an interesting way where she was supposed to, her appearance was kind of that femme fatale, meant to appeal to kind of Western audiences. And Eris was supposed to be kind of the more conservative, kind of cutesy looking one, which was supposed to appeal to Japanese audiences. But then they flipped the personalities where Eris was more outgoing. She was more direct. She was kind of your manic pixie dream girl kind of personality. And Tifa was more of the quieter, you know, take care of everybody, kind of that mom energy. So I always thought that was kind of an interesting dynamic. And Final Fantasy in general has pretty good female protagonists. I mean, if you look at obviously Lightning, a lot of people don't like her because she lacks personality. But if you go back to some of the older games, Final Fantasy IV, Rosa was one of the characters. She was the first summoner, and now summoners are a huge deal in the series. So, you know, I think they called them callers back then, but, you know, the first summoner was female. Yuna from Final Fantasy X was clearly one of the most important characters. She was female. If you look at Final Fantasy VI, two of the most powerful characters are Terra and Celeste. Celeste is a super soldier, similar to Kefka. She's female. You know, Terra's female. She's half human, half Esper. So Final Fantasy's been pretty good about having some leading women up in the forefront. So good on them.
And what I wanted to add on Tifa, of course, you guys are gonna find lots of counterexample to that. But right now, in my mind, gameplay-wise, it's very rare to have a female protagonist going hand to hand, you know, like close and personal with monsters. Think of, I don't know, like Dagger. I think she's doing magic, or Quistis as a long range weapon. Yuffie is long range. Most of the girls usually have, even if in Tales of, you know, they have chakram or magic or stuff, they usually in the back rows. Tifa, nah, give us some gloves.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a 2 meter tall snake. I'm gonna punch your guts anyway.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah, you
enough,
don't usually
sure.
see that monk style on a female, so
Exactly, especially when she's supposed to be the nice motherly lady.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of, you know, like contrary to how she appears. And that's really fun. I like her.
Yeah.
And even though she appears very sexy, of course, in the latest, you know, Advent Children or remake or stuff like this, I remember a fun time where Tifa was like the rest of the gang, 3 or 5 triangles, you know, on top of each other. So
Yeah. And her eyes look like they're bleeding because of the bad pixels.
so that's, you know, for you, young generation, you're lucky to know her like this. That was not the same experience for us.
We had to use our imaginations back then.
Yes, exactly.
So she's one of
Alright.
the, like, there's like a set of original Final Fantasy characters, and she's one of them.
What do you mean by a set of original? Each entry is different. They're unrelated.
So they're not the same characters all the time?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's a common kind of a joke is, you know, if somebody says like, "Oh, Final Fantasy 15 is coming out. Do I have to play the first 14 to understand what's happening?" So that's kind of a joke that you'll see online. But no, they're all completely unrelated. It's kind of like
But, I mean, are the characters the same though?
No. Each game is completely unrelated. The characters are completely different. It's
So
kind of
why is
like
that Cloud always like Cloud is always mentioned or Ares is
because they're so
always mentioned?
popular. They're the more popular characters.
Exactly, yeah.
Ah,
The
Yeah,
only times you have the same character reappearing would be if you have FF10 and 10.2
yeah,
or 13, 31, 32, 13.3. It has to be like this. But if it's Final Fantasy 14 and Final Fantasy 16, no, not 14, sorry, because it's different. But 12, 13, 15, totally different characters.
yeah. It's
Like,
kind of like what I would say is it's kind of like the Twilight Zone, where each episode was completely distinct, but you still have some episodes or some characters that everybody knows, like William Shatner in Carrot 2000 Feet, the guy who sees the gremlin on the wing, and everybody talks about, him, or the Last Man on Earth, the guy who breaks his glasses. These are characters that everybody knows, but they're not recurring characters. They just showed up in one episode, but that one episode happened to be really, really good, so everybody remembers that character. And these are kind of the same thing where you have all these different Final Fantasies, but some are more popular than others, and then
so Tifa has only been in one Final Fantasy.
he's only been in Final Fantasy 7, yes.
of course, you can have them again in different games, such
Yeah,
as
they do crossover jokes and stuff. So
like Kingdom Hearts, for instance, or
Oh.
they reappear, or DCD, I think it was, or
yep,
in offshoots, but they are not the main game.
yeah.
It's
So I
like
mean,
the Apollo missions for the Americans. There's 14 missions, but it's never the same astronauts.
given like I mean, Adam and I have lived in Asia for a while. Antoine, you're quite familiar with Asian culture, of course, being married to part of it. Why do you think? I mean, given Final Fantasy's long history, I mean, both of you, whoever wants to answer can answer. I mean, why do you think they made female characters so front and centered? I mean, besides the aesthetic reason that in Asian culture, especially Korea as well. When I lived in Korea, was still very much a patriarchy. Japan, I believe, is still very much a patriarchy as well. I mean, why would they make a strong female character?
Because you need to have possibility for romance in the game.
It's
That
just
makes
that.
I mean, some of the earlier
not
games, you had Locke and Celeste, I suppose, so there was some
no.
romance.
There's few things. First, a good one or two good romance in the game will help story long, but also although there's a stereotype that gamers are all guys, that's not true. There's a good part of the market which is ladies, and having a good female lady or a group of mixed characters where female are as important or maybe more important than the guys, well, you attract the female players too. So that would be a shame just to have. If you need to have take a Kratos God of War, bon, he's a guy because you need to have this Spartan athlete guy. Well, fair enough. I'm sure he could have worked with a lady as well, but you can't have a mix in this game. But in a Final Fantasy or RPG where you have a wide group, it's like a no-brainer that you have to include everyone. You have to expand your your target. You have to sell your game as much as you can. So if you have some strong female lead alongside the strong male lead, yeah, I don't see why not.
I mean, what's your take on it, Adam?
Uh, I think it's a combination of a couple things. I mean, even though yes, it's traditionally kind of a male-dominated thing, you still have legends of like say Mulan, right? A female soldier. So there's always those kind of stories of the female soldier. Mulan, Joan of Arc, that sort of thing. So, I mean, I think in that sense, it wasn't really something that they thought about as much as like, oh, we need a female protagonist, as in like, oh, it's just interesting, it's different. But also, Final Fantasy specifically was modeled more after D&D, especially the original one was very much D&D, and so there were definitely a lot of Western influences on there. And maybe something like King Arthur. I don't think Guinevere ever fights, but she's a really important character to it. And so I think having, typically in these kind of stories, these kind of epics, you don't usually have a full male cast. I mean, even in like say the Odyssey, there's several women talking about. Yeah, they don't talk about Joan of Arc in Asia, but I mean, but she's Western, and this was based off of the original Final Fantasies were D&D. But yeah, so I think it's just kind of something to change it up a bit. The first game, all 4 characters were male, but they were also unnamed. You know, it's just warrior, mage, black mage, white mage, ninja. They didn't have names, but I'm not sure about the second and the third one. But by the fourth one, they definitely had some more female characters. I remember there were a set of twins. One was male, one was female. Rosa was in there. She was a caller. So again, like what Antoine said, she's in the background. She's not in the front fighting, but she's able to summon these big monsters to kind of fight for her. But yeah, I think it was just kind of that legendary kind of, you know, sorceress kind of thing. Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. Thank you for that, Adam. And Antoine, what is your surprise?
It's not really a surprise, like I mentioned before that I platinum only the games that I really like, and I only did two of them, which are Horizon Zero Dawn and The Last of Us. And of course, The Last of Us as Ellie, as a female protagonist. I don't know, you said Ellie in
Ellie,
US
yeah.
because I had it in French. Yeah. Okay, so she's alongside with Joel, of course, and they have their big adventure across the US. I'm talking about part one because this is the one which marked me the most, because Ellie's relationship with Joel, like a father-daughter relationship, was extremely good and well written. Although I didn't I liked number two, but it's not as strong, and they decided no problem with that. But was it a marketing or just because of a generational thing that Ellie has a girlfriend in there?
She does.
She does, yeah, and they even adopt a baby. And I just like her mindset a lot less in the second opus than the first one, because she seems to be only motivated by vengeance and revenge. So it's much less companionship, as it was in the first game. Like she will literally abandon a family in the second one to go to have revenge on another lady, which she won't even kill and come back with two fingerless. Spoilers, huh? But that's again another 2 or 3 years old game, so now it's fine. And no, but I really enjoy the character, especially in the first one. And in the first one, there's this whole part where Joel is hurt very bad, and you play with Joel most of the game, except for this part in the snow. And Ellie was what, 13, 14 at the time, has to go and hunt squirrels and take care of Joel, and you have this super hard time. Gameplay wise, you have a horde of zombies you have to kill with just her inside the little house, which I recall was really very hard for me to pass. So, yeah, good girl.
Antoine, I have a question for you. I mean, speaking of female protagonists, what about your daughter? Like, what's her favorite gaming, or as a young girl, like the future generation of female gamer? What does she like to play?
Roblox.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I like to play Roblox, especially sandbox stuff like create your own pizzeria or something, or I don't know, I don't look at all the games she does, but there's a lot of games where she can design her own character. So she's always looking, oh look daddy, I adopted a cat, look I had a unicorn stuff. Yeah.
I know the
So that's
game
why
is called Adopt Me on Roblox. It's like a
there's
main.
there's
Yeah.
there is Adopt Me, there is a few things like this, and that's why she's always after me saying, daddy, buy me Robux and get me some good marks at school, and we'll talk.
What about what about Alva? Does she get into gaming? Because I mean, there are 3 gamers in your house, so she's still not into gaming at all.
Nah, never, and I'll never convert her. She,
Okay.
she played Warcraft once upon a time, but that was a very short period, and no, she's just not into that kind of stuff.
Adam, what about you? Right? What I mean, in your experience as a teacher, teaching lots of female students and seeing people playing cell phones in class during break time, of course, not during class. Um, what do you think? I mean, what have you seen as far as the evolution of female protagonists, and young girls playing games?
Um, it seems to me. I mean, this is just what I've seen. Most of the times I see girls playing games. Typically, they have an older brother who plays games, and they're just kind of taken after that. The big one that I see right now is still Pokemon Go. I have there's a brother and a sister that always play together before class while they're waiting, and they'll collect those. And I often see the brothers and sisters playing together. They I've seen a lot of that, where they'll share like a Switch or something. Like for instance, I have a student that I teach on Wednesdays, and he has a younger sister, and they both play. Was it Pokemon Eevee Let's Go on the Switch? And yeah, they both share that, so they'll play and I mean, yeah, and it's always an older brother younger sister dynamic. But I have seen lots of girls play games, but they typically the games that I've seen them play. I think part of the reason that sometimes there's this kind of stereotype that girls don't play games is I think we kind of have a stereotype of what counts as a game or what counts as a gamer. So people that would say, you know, gamers, the games that gamers play are typically shooters, RPGs, um,
MMOs.
MMOs, you know. And I think we see a lot of women playing MMOs, but I don't think we see as many playing shooters or maybe necessarily RPGs, but they do play a lot of like puzzle games. They do like the collectathons. I know like among my wife's friends, music games are really popular, like Citus on the phone. A lot of the kind of hidden object games I know are really popular among some of my wife's friends. So I think basically it's not so much an evolution in women getting more into games as it is an evolution in our accepting as what it means to be a gamer.
Also, I'll mention something else, and stop me if you think I'm wrong, but boys and girls don't necessarily like the same kind of games. And
Yeah.
if we like, like some grubby, lots of blood and stuff, maybe ladies like some nicer kind of game. And I can see, like my neighbor over there, or the leader of my free company on FF14, or I know plenty of girls playing. They all of them have a Switch. They all have a Switch, and they like to play. What's the cute game on an island? New Horizon.
Uh,
Animal Crossing.
yes.
Animal Crossing. That's widespread among ladies. It's just like we don't necessarily. Oh, my English is terrible tonight. We don't necessarily like the same kind of game, but I think Nintendo is doing great at hitting the ladies market because they are family games, and when the kids go and show the mother maybe Animal Crossing or stuff like this, it's cute, it's nice, it's not GTA 5, with a strong language and prostitute on all the corners and shoot cops and stuff like this. No, it's cute. It's there's cute animals or cute stories or stuff. Of course, that's I don't make any generality here, but what I feel is like Nintendo is much better targeting ladies and children compared to what Xbox and PlayStation do. Again, there's everything for every taste, or of course, but yeah, that's what I think and what I see around my personal friend and family and stuff. They all have a Switch. It's a common point.
Yeah, it's like I've always enjoyed The Sims, but if you look at any of the high-end Sims streamers, they're almost exclusively female. So The Sims, from what I've heard, the fan base is predominantly female for that style of game. And back to Animal Crossing, the president of Taiwan had an account, and she plays, and yeah, we have a female president, so
Yeah, we see her on TV quite often, especially with recent news.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're kind of expanding our horizons of what a game can be. I think traditionally, games we thought of as, violent or some sort of combat or more. I think it's kind of I think kind of that dude bro thing you see in a lot of like say Elden Ring. The get good mentality. Um,
Good.
and I think and I think that in general, guys have had kind of more of a drive for that kind of hit it hard and hit it fast kind of mentality. And I think
Competitive,
very
competitive.
competitive. Even if it's single player, it's very competitive. And I think now we're seeing a lot of more like cooperative kind of games, like
Take two.
Overcooked and stuff like that. And I think that that's opening up. And I think also there's kind of a stigma, or at least there was more of a stigma, of a female gamer, because we still see it in like the industry for designing games. You still don't see too many women developers, and so I think there's definitely kind of a stigma where girls will game, but they won't be as open about it.
And I talked about them in a previous forecast, but again, I highly recommend Viva la Adult League videos. They made some videos about female gamers that are killing me every time. So go on YouTube or Facebook or stuff and go see Viva la Adult League. These guys are a New Zealand group and they are really doing great videos. And they are doing a Kickstarter crowdfunding event at the moment. So if
Already
you want
finished.
to finished already, oh damn it! Already finished. Sorry, so I didn't say anything. Thanks, Rian. Didn't you?
I mean, Adam, you mentioned streaming as well, right? Why do you think one of the most successful female streamers all play like Apex or Valiant or that sort of stuff?
They do or they don't?
They do.
Again, I think it's kind of that stereotype where I think it's kind of a novelty thing for people, where you have this stereotype that girls don't play those games. So when you do, guys are like, oh, and that's yeah. So I think it's as bad as this is going to sound. I think it's kind of the freak show aspect of it in a way. And I don't mean that like people that play that are freaks, but I think it's kind of that mentality of people where it's the novelty. It's that same idea where it's like this is something that's so bizarre to me that to see it, it's just what. And then I don't think this is true. And then I think back to competitiveness. I think there's a bit of jealousy on some of those viewers where the guys are like, "There's no way this girl's gonna be as good as me," and and so they're watching it and they're going to, or they start watching it, to kind of nitpick, and then maybe over time they kind of warm up to the streamer. I think that's a case some of the time. But yeah, I think it's just also too, there are just so many male streamers, right? That if you have a female streamer, they're going to stand out. That's just how it's going to be. So it's just
I don't know about America or especially for the French streamers market. Not too long ago, one of the most successful streamer made a tier list because I don't know if you remember, but there was a tier list or a leak on the salary of the streamer, and the guy took this list and made a tier list in France, and out of 50 streamers, nearly half of them were ladies, and they were not too bad in terms of money. Huh? So it's not 50-50, but it's very close to, at least in France. But where you see that maybe ladies like less competitive games is, I think, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but in esports world, in competition and in sport teams, you don't see many ladies.
not
It's
too
usually
many.
guys. Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that not they are worse than the guys. I think they maybe have less competitive spirits. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was League of Legends, but there was a team here in Taiwan, and they had a female on the team. But even then, apparently, I guess people were saying that she wasn't actually as good as some of the other players on the team, and so whenever they did the big competitions, she wasn't playing. But
Ouch.
she was purely on the team to kind of get that.
Marketing attention?
Yeah, it was purely a marketing
Ooh,
stunt.
that's bad.
Yeah. So I mean, she wasn't bad. She was good, but she just wasn't.
No, that's bad on the part of the team to just have a lady to
Yeah,
advertise
exactly.
on
Yeah,
them.
she was. Yeah, because when it came to like some of the smaller competitions, she would compete, but when it came to the higher level stuff, then she was always benched. So it was like, yeah, it was purely like a publicity thing.
Okay, and then I'll run off today's show very quickly. So, oh, Antoine, next week's topic is yours, so you have some time to think about it while I talk.
Oh, damn it.
Because according to the list, after next week, so after Antoine's episode is next week, will be my episode, Games for Mental Health, and then we'll be back to Adam after that. So, yeah, my female protagonist, even though as I was thinking about this topic today, I think last week I ended up choosing Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, voiced by Laura Bailey, of course, from Critical Role. And I mean, you guys have heard of Laura Bailey as well. I believe she plays the female Commander Shepard on Mass Effect as well.
Another great female protagonist.
Yes, exactly. Lots of people have said, that the female Commander Shepard was the real way you should have played Mass Effect back in the day.
She was the better voice actor.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
There's also the Greek lady from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I forgot her name.
Alexandra? No, Alexandros was the brother.
Alexios was the
Alexios.
brother.
Alexios.
Yes. Cassandra. Yes. Cassandra was the, and so people again said she was the person you should have played. I ended up playing. I tend to play mostly male characters, but of course, Tomb Raider, you don't have a choice. But yeah, I remember growing up, Diablo 1, back in the day, you had the mage, the archer, the warrior, and the archer was the female character, and my brother played it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But I played this Tomb Raider back in the day, and it was like totally blew my mind because I'd never played a game with a female protagonist. And I'm like, wow, the voice acting was really amazing. And in the beginning of the first Tomb Raider, this is not going to spoil anything, right? It's like freaking Laura gets beat up as hell, and she like impales herself on a wooden spike, and then the pain is just like, oh. So it was a fantastic game, and I think as somebody who, when I was teaching full time and doing computer science and stuff, and I had, and I've complained to this about Adam before, because like when I first started teaching programming and visual programming and then Python as well, it's like you start off a class, and I remember we had 4 girls and 5 boys in the class, right? And then as we got onto high difficulties, the girls just left. And then I asked my sister-in-law, I'm like, why are girls not interested? And because my sister-in-law is does programming for HSBC, some sort of programming related job for HSBC, and one of the few women I know in the high levels of tech, programming, finance. And she said it's just because as a man, we don't teach programming or stuff in the way women want to learn. And I realized that's kind of true, because when I was teaching, making games and stuff, like the girls wanted to make like fashion games and My Little Pony sort of stuff, and the boys are like, no, we want to shoot, kill, fight, that sort of stuff. And so and I remember one of my students was like, oh, when are we going to make this kind of game? And we ended up make a fashion game, but the boys hated it. They're like, what's the point of playing dress up? I'm like, it's not that bad. I'd like to put myself in a game and dress stuff up, and it's okay. But yeah, no, I
They've
think
clearly never played an MMO.
yes. And yeah, so I definitely hope and that there will be more representation. You guys probably know like Annapurna Interactive. They do a lot of sort of, I would say, female-oriented games, or games that are made definitely more for women in a sense. And I think we need more companies and more directions like that, despite the backlash amongst male gamers. It's something that's got to happen because we've got to expand the market. Yeah. All right. So some quick housekeeping before we go to Antoine for his mysterious topic for next week. So housekeeping as usual for us is going to be social media, right? You guys subscribe to Middle Age Gaming or Gaming Age on Twitter. TikTok as well, right? So you can get videos that inevitably feature Adam as well, because I have not figured out how to cut all this stuff so it features all of us on TikTok. Um, so Adam is always you're always the cover picture of our TikTok videos.
Okay.
You're a front man.
Yeah, other front man. Yes, so TikTok, Twitter, at like Instagram as well. Adam does these wonderful thumbnails. If you're following our Instagram, you'll see them as well. They're very cool. I'm trying my best to post at least one of those a day because we have a huge backlog, right?
But
Hint,
every
hint.
single one I have up there.
Yes, exactly. Of very cool thumbnails. Don't forget as well, you can catch Adam streaming during the week, usually in the mornings, Taiwanese time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Adam.
Well, obviously not. Well, Wednesday we're here. Monday,
Oh,
Tuesday,
yes.
Friday, but that might change on Tuesday, so we'll have to wait.
Oh, yes, yes, that might change because Adam might be helping me out at a company I still kind of work for, but I don't really kind of work for anymore. Um, so he might be stepping into that role, maybe part time or full time ish. Let's see how it goes. And the last thing I want to mention is that we have decided on a sort of like a feature series that we're going to partake of, I guess, unless you guys can stop me if we haven't decided yet. But
No, I think we're
um,
good. As long as
Starfield
Antoine's
in,
good, I'm good.
oh, yeah, Starfield, Antoine, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
So Starfield is coming out in November, right? That is, oh my god, my math, 8 months away, right? 7 months away, technically. So the plan is we are going to be doing this on the podcast, and by that time, I should be able to be doing some videos as well, because Adam might be full time being a public relations consultant at my former employer. Um, so then I'll be totally cool with all of that. So, but yeah, so the plan is we'll be doing like a Starfield content, and when it releases, we'll all be playing it. So we'll be able to provide you, the different perspectives, from the sort of easygoing perspective or mass murdering perspective from me, and the normal perspective from Adam Antoine. And so if you have any like ideas or thoughts, you're like, can you guys do this? Can you make a top 5 ways of, because there's so much Starfield content, and I'm sure you guys, if you're middle-aged gamers, you probably missed a lot of it. Like I've missed a lot of it already. I have no idea about Starfield at all, besides the trailer that I watched last year.
They released
Um,
like 8 seconds of gameplay, I think.
yes, I think everybody saw
Wow.
that ridiculous part. But yeah, let us know, right? I'm sort of checking our social media at least in the middle of the week. So yeah, would love to figure that out together. Antoine, next week's topic.
Yeah, first, just to finish on the housekeeping, of course, today's topic was a very slippery slope. I know. So if you're a lady and you didn't like what we said, please don't start a shitstorm on Twitter. Do it on our YouTube account, because at least, in the comments we have visibility. So start a shitstorm over there. That would be great for us.
If we are wrong, please tell us, because this is a sausage fest of a show. So we could
Yes.
use your
No,
input.
not that. Hey, Adam and Kriam really tried to get a lady onto the show, which is, instead you got Phil and I. So shame. So for next week's topic, you stop me if you don't like it, because it's quite a kink of me. But I really do like the old LucasArts point and click game. I really love them, and especially that you can have them on Steam for quite cheap. Not too long ago, or maybe last year, I did a Day of the Tentacle or stuff like this. These are really good games, and I love my point and click. Monkey Island. Who doesn't like Monkey Island? So, if you okay with it, I'd like to have a special point and click.
Sure.
If you don't like it, we can go on something else. Sam and Max. Sam and Max.
So are we just doing LucasArts point and clicks, or just point and click games in general?
Point and click in general.
Okay. And I'm just
Lucas,
writing that down.
it's just that
It's like, oh
LucasArts was
no.
very no, but LucasArts was very prominent in its days. But like lately, you had Deponia. Deponia was not LucasArts, but was quite a good point and click as well. So I don't want to limit the vast choice of point and click. Monkey Island, I don't think was LucasArts as well, but you have to talk about this, of course, during a point and click special. So I don't want to limit the choice, but there's lots of choice and I love it. So I don't know if you guys love point and click. I do.
Adam, do you love point and click games?
When I was younger, I did, but I haven't played one in a really long time. Yeah.
I've only played two, maybe. One really resonated with me, and I'll talk about that next week since I don't want to spoil it. And I've wanted to get back into it, but I've just never had the. And we've talked about this on the show before that games as I've gotten older, so like I have to be in an emotional state for them, and if I'm not, then I'm just not gonna like Horizon Forbidden Zero. Is it Forbidden Zero?
Forbidden West and Zero Dawn.
God damn it. Horizon Zero Dawn, like when I did try it and I love the look of it, the mechanics were also interesting. It was an interesting game. I just wasn't feeling it, and that's why I said I'll probably will play it at some point, but I have to be in the moment where I'm playing it, just like Wasteland 3 at the moment, and I just like, oh, it just clicks with me. So yep, I've not played a lot of point and click games in my life. I watched my older brother and my younger brother enjoy them. So I'm curious to see what Antoine says next week. Okay, and so we've decided next week's topic. If you are a point and click fan, definitely don't forget to tune in. You can set a reminder on your Google Calendar or whatever calendar app you use. I forgot what the thing on the iPhone is called. And Adam, streaming, because you are the streaming star, you are streaming
Friday
this week. Today is Wednesday, so Friday, are you streaming?
Omori.
Still Omori as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to focus on. I used to do different ones each day, and right now I think I'm just gonna do one. So I'm still gonna finish Final Fantasy 15, which I think I only have one day left. Maybe. 14. Did I say? Yeah, 15. Final Fantasy 14, which I think I could probably finish next Monday, and then after that I'll probably just stream one game at a time.
Very cool. And Antoine, you're not streaming, of course, but you're still focusing on finishing Forbidden West.
Exactly, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
On that topic, you said that we're gonna focus on Starfield. Do we have a special day, like the first Tuesday of the month or something like this?
No. I mean, my plan is basically on the podcast format for Starfield. Is I posted the document last week. Is that maybe 2 months before Starfield releases, we'll start sort of doing an episode where we talk about things that are coming with Starfield, content, graphics, options, whatever you guys want to talk about, and we'll do like a monthly episode to catch people up before Starfield releases, so that like, okay, I now understand everything because Adam, Antoine, Korean sort of explained graphics options, console options, what's happening, where to buy it, sort of summarizing everything together so people can sort of listen to this on their drive into work or on their plane ride or cycling ride, like for me, and they can say, okay, I'm pre-ordering Starfield, I'm not pre-ordering, I'm going to wait for Korean Adam and Antoine to play it, and then I'll order it. And so my plan is 2 months ahead to start doing content. You guys can have a look at what I put in our line document and see if you want to do it earlier, maybe. So the plan is to start doing content in September.
Okay, so 2 months before they announce that it's gonna be late and released mid 2023. Okay.
You guys can forgive Antoine. That is the French style of humor.
I'm teasing you. Sorry.
I remember because I've known him for a long time. God, I've known you for 16 years, 17 years, right?
Yeah, something like this. 2006. Portobello College, Dublin.
Yes. All right. That is it, guys. Unless you guys want to say anything else.
I'm good.
That's it.
Cool. And once again, thank you very much for tuning in. And Adam, thank you for hosting and doing all the wonderful video magicry that you do on a weekly basis, and for posting the videos as well. And we will talk to you guys next week, Wednesday at the same time.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.